It's budget day tomorrow, and the Chancellor is running around begging her own MPs to support it.
But what will it mean for you? Yes, she wants to put a mansion tax on millionaires, but is it actually going to adversely affect middle earners?
You lose such a large chunk of it. There's no point.
No.
I mean, okay, if your income were to jump overnight from 100,000 to 4 million a year,
that would
it's
be
worth
fine. Yes.
doing it.
Yes, of
but if
course.
your income goes up to 120, 130, why bother? And so it's a lag on productivity.
Well,
it's a lag
also
on
just
ambition.
Anything that's a lag on ambition means that it's stifling rather than
It
growing
stifles
anything.
the general economy.
Yes.
Because why would you bother to work harder? Why would you keep your business open for the extra few hours? Why would you employ more people, etc., to make money when you know that such a vast whack of it is going to go to Rachel Reeves? Camilla, modern governance is all about the budget.
Yes.
It's everything. It's Black Friday, it's Christmas, it's Gay Pride, all rolled into one. And it's not just about the country, it's also about the government, because it's effectively a vote of confidence in the government.
Yes.
This is what it's going to do, and therefore its MPs have to back it, or they could bring it down.
Well, why then is the Chancellor desperately begging them to back it when we know all this?
This is my point. I cannot recall in my lifetime a Chancellor, before a budget, for several weeks, having to go around and plead with MPs who are part of an historic majority
169.
to get them to support what I'm saying is the most important thing that a government can do.
Yes, it is a bit desperate. Let's listen to the wording as well. So she spoke to a meeting of Labour's parliamentary party on Monday night. She said to the MPs they must stick together if they wanted to win the next election. OK, basic stuff.
Why would you have to say that 2 years in?
Well,
Or
this
one
is her
year in,
second
actually.
budget and she's having to be this persuasive.
Yeah.
But this is the quote, which I think is interesting. So she said she thought Labour MPs would like 90 to 95% of her spending plan. Not 100%, you'll note, but 90 to 95%.
Yeah.
But she warned, it's a package, not a pick and mix. You can't say you like the cola bottles, but you don't like the fruit salad.
Okay.
It all comes together and hangs together as a whole. Now,
It's a pick and mix. And you know what pick and mix always does to me? It makes me feel sick.
It's same as a smorgasbord.
And it's always overpriced.
Well, this
it's like
is-
£3 for a wine gum in there. This
So-
is not a good metaphor.
No, look, I actually loved pick and mix as a child, and I would shove it all down my gullet. But the point is, all of these food analogies, it's either pick and mix or it's a smorgasbord or it's actually a dog's dinner.
Yeah.
It all adds up to the kind of meal that you might eat. My husband's good at this. My husband and my son will go to a breakfast buffet and have a strange mixture of like the hams and the cheeses and then a donut and then like a
Yes.
little pot of jelly
It's a
and
meal.
a yogurt.
It's a meal without philosophy.
It's got no direction.
yeah.
It's got no grounding.
Well,
it
that's
is.
going to send you to the loo pretty quick. But yeah,
It's
no,
all over
that's
the
the key
place.
thing, isn't it? She's saying, oh, you need a bit of fat, you need a bit of sugar, or you need to lose a bit of weight. It's everything thrown in there, actually to please everyone. And we're finding out that at this late in the game, she's not actually pleasing her colleagues.
No, and you say about it's not going to be high sugar because this milkshake tax keeps on bringing boys to the yard. All of the headlines are suggesting that yet again there's going to be an assault on sugar. We know this is big statism incarnate, so expect some nannying, expect people to be told how they should be living their lives as she celebrates the good things Labour are doing, breakfast clubs, teeth brushing,
And the problem with all vice
minimum
taxes,
wage up.
the problem with all vice taxes is that if they work, income goes down because they're supposed to put people off doing that thing.
Yes.
That's the moral case for them. If they don't, if they milk people for doing wrong things, then that's kind of immoral. But they're not supposed to do that.
No, that's right. Also, there's something so counterintuitive about all this, and we can judge it by literally recent memory, because putting up the minimum wage has actually caused youth unemployment to hit record levels. So 18 to 24-year-olds more are out of work now than there were when Labour came to power, and that is because employers can't afford higher minimum wage. People forget that changes all of the differentials further up the chain. So if you're paying a 16-year-old minimum wage to come into a pub and wash all the pots, then you've got to pay the person who's 18 and serving at the bar more, and then you've got to pay the manager who is managing the rota more, all the way up the chain until it becomes so unaffordable, a gin and tonic turns out to be 18 quid and nobody wants to come to the pub anymore. So again, that's a counterfactual that she's, we think, set to repeat. I mean, we've talked about the mansion tax, but there's a really interesting piece about how this stuff works in reality. You look at it as a policy, I mean, just off the bat, paying an extra levy because you have a house worth 2 million. I mean, is that a good price to set it at? Does it sound fair? Does
it would affect just 0.5% of all households.
Does it appeal to the inner socialist in you, the little Gary Stevenson trying to come out, that you suppressed these people in your 20s, you knew they were wrong? Does any part of you think, well, if you're lucky enough to have a £2 million home?
I just want to say it depends on what the purpose is. Is it revenue raising or is it class war? And I think with Labour, you can never quite tell.
Right.
It's a bit like with fox hunting. Was the purpose to save foxes or was it to shut down the hunt because they hated people who hunt? And one always suspects it's the latter.
There is class warfare going on.
Yes.
And by the way, the backdrop to tomorrow is going to be a load of farmers arriving in Whitehall and the surrounding area on tractors.
Yes.
And you and I are going to be down there on College Green covering all of this. So
there is no point in banning trail hunting. It's the equivalent of hating cigarettes, so you ban people from blowing bubbles. The whole darn point is that nothing dies.
Nothing dies, yes. No one died. So on this mansion tax, OK, on the surface of it, you could say to yourself, well, if you're rich enough to own a £2 million home and it only affects a tiny minority of people, then it's fine. And she's also investigating, obviously, changing or putting a levy on council tax on homes that are in bands F, G and H. That's meant to be a tax on the southeast. But at the same time, a northern correspondent pointed out that homes in the north fall under those bands when they're worth a lot less because of the way property is there and the worth of the property market in different areas outside of the southeast. And so it could actually clobber, again, middle earners. But this is an example of sort of, to use the common parlance of the week, how people can be fiscally dragged into this stuff, even though they're not millionaires or mansion owners. And stamp duty is such a good example. This, to me, is stat of the day. In 1997, the Treasury managed to raise 675 million in stamp duty. At the time, it only affected just over 600,000 buyers. Last year, almost 1 million transactions raised, wait for it, 11.6 billion in revenue.
Wow.
So a tax that was meant to raise just over £500 million is now raising nearly 12. Imagine all of the people now that are paying ever greater sums for stamp duty, which many regard just to be a dead tax, isn't it? You sell your home and you just have to carve off this amount for the lawyers and this amount for the government, and there's nothing you can do.
It's a tariff. It's something you have to do because you're accessing a service. And it's a service which is essential, i.e. moving homes. And if you carry on like this, the consequence for the chain of home buying is disastrous because it means people in the very big houses won't sell and move on to an even bigger house, which means that a family that are currently stuck in a flat, they can't get into that big house. And as always happens whenever the chain slows down, the prices go up because now you're competing to get into that one flat that has become available, usually because someone's popped their clogs. So it has these unintended consequences for the rest of society.
The other thing in this whole all-you-can-eat buffet, one dish we think is going to be served up, although there's been lots of rumour, and we won't know, to be fair, until the Chancellor stands up after PMQs tomorrow at 12:30. We won't know for sure, but I think we can both bet, actually our mortgages, on the fact that she will freeze the threshold. So again, that fiscal drag issue when it comes to stamp duty also applies to wages.
Indeed. So the decision to freeze income tax thresholds in 2022 has since inflicted a monster tax rate on millions of workers. In 2011, only 7% paid the higher and additional rates of income tax. That percentage has now doubled to 14%, that's according to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, and by 2029 to 30, 17.5% of the population will be higher rate taxpayers if the Chancellor extends the freeze. In total, 10 million of us will pay 40% tax, an increase of 4.8 million had there been no freezes at all.
An increase of 4.8 million people dragged
Yes.
into that rate.
Yes, 4.8 new Reform or Tory voters. Again,
Yeah,
a
quite.
tax that is designed for the super rich, never expecting that it would take that much money or affect that many people, has been allowed cynically by successive administrations to become a tax on more and more people to pay for people who don't work.
Exactly. But then we have all these stories about, well, I'd rather not be given a pay rise, I'd rather not earn more money. You combine that with the threshold at which people have to pay VAT. Do you remember when Jeremy Hunt was Chancellor and everyone was poised? He was going to do something dramatic with the VAT threshold. And people sat in the comments thinking, what's he going to do? He's going to double it. This could be revolutionary. And he actually changed it from £85,000 to £90,000. And the trouble with that is that it doesn't do anything to incentivise people to earn, for instance, £100,000 if they're sole traders or freelancers or indeed self-employed, because they don't want to be dragged into that tax trap.
As with stamp duty, okay, so why should the, what is the figure, 82.5% that won't be paying the higher rate, why should they care?
Yeah.
Well, because if you earn a certain amount and you know that earning a little bit more pushes you into the 40% tax band, everything else that you earn, you lose such a large chunk of it, there's no point.
No.
I mean, okay, if your income were to jump overnight from 100,000 to 4 million a year,
That would
it's
be
worth
fine. Yes.
doing it.
Yes, of
but if your
course.
income goes up to 120, 130, why bother? And so it's a lag on productivity.
Well,
It's a lag
also
on
just-
ambition.
Anything that's a lag on ambition means that it's stifling rather than
It
growing
stifles
anything.
the general economy.
Yes.
Because why would you bother to work harder? Why would you keep your business open for the extra few hours? Why would you employ more people, etc., to make money when you know that such a vast whack of it is going to go to Rachel Reeves?
Cynical suggestion. Why do we think that she may have capped the mansion tax at 2 million? It couldn't possibly be, Tim,
Yeah.
because both the Prime Minister and his deputy, David Lammy, live in homes worth just less. So apparently, according to our own reporting, the Prime Minister and his deputy own properties worth between 1.5 million and 2 million.
Right.
They're going to be exempt, as will Work and Pension Secretary Pat McFadden.
Right.
Hang on, don't look. Who
Okay.
do you think is definitely not exempt from this? Which member of the cabinet
Right.
do you think lives in the most expensive property?
I suspect it's Ed Miliband.
It is Ed Miliband. Do you say that because you know he has 2 kitchens?
No, it is a historic folk memory of 2 kitchens Miliband from 2015, although one of those kitchens, remember, he didn't use all the time. He just posed in it. It just
Yes.
has a basin in it. It's the kind of the rough kitchen. It's not the one they normally are in.
Staff kitchen.
It's
you
a
could
staff
say.
kitchen.
Yes.
I knew it was going to be Miliband because I knew that he was filthy rich in property terms. But I find... I think
His property, by the way, is worth £3.7 million
Right.
in North London.
I
hang
want
on, I've got
someone
it
to
wrong.
produce a magazine.
Yes.
Oh, you got it
Hang
wrong.
on, I've got. Who do you think? No, don't look. Stop
Okay.
looking.
Right.
Who might have an even more expensive property
I don't know.
than Ed Miliband?
I don't know. Who
Who's
would it
the
be?
resident? I mean, who earns the most money in this country apart from millionaires and tech bros? Come on, we employ a load of them here.
Right.
In fact, they do your conveyancing for you. They manage your divorce.
Lawyers.
Exactly.
Right.
Who would have a more expensive home than Miliband?
The Attorney General.
Yes, Lord Herbert. Somebody who can afford to give
Right.
away the Chagos Islands, lives in a home worth £4 million.
Right. Okay. You see, what I think is someone like Home and Country or one of those glossy magazines you find in dentists, they need to do a special on the homes of socialists. Right?
Yes.
You have Ed Miliband in a home worth 3.7 million, Attorney General in a home worth 4 million, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, in a home in Stoke Newington worth 2.5 million, and Liz Kendall.
Oh, she's rivaling Lord Hermer, actually.
She's done very well for herself. The Science and Technology Secretary has a £4 million Notting Hill townhouse. Now, I'm sure, I don't know what their family stories are. They may well be married to very rich people. Maybe someone else is paying the bills. I don't know what's going on there. But my flat is worth about $300,000 and has rising damp.
Yes.
All they have done for the last 10 years or 15 years, these people, is politics.
Yes.
And politics doesn't actually pay that
No.
well.
No.
What the hell?
Unless you have a load of sidelines
What
like
the hell
your
is-
Geoffrey Cox.
Is a 5th rank politician like Liz Kendall I mean, she's not Kissinger or one of the Kennedys, is she?
No, I know.
What the hell is she doing at a £4 million Notting Hill townhouse?
If we did
That's what I'd like to know.
If we did do some kind of Kirsty Allsop and Phil Spencer inside socialist manners, do you know what we could call it?
What?
Communist cribs. Couldn't we? We could knock on the door. Oh, there's a hammer and sickle. And there's a wonderful range cooker next to an Aga with a glass house and Farrow and Ball paint on the walls.
I think, yeah. I mean, with all these Marxists, we need some kind of Marxist version of Through the Keyhole. You know, where there'd be a silhouette of someone standing. And Lloyd Grossman would say, and in this corner, we have the most beautiful bookshelves. And it turns out when the lights come up, it's Karl Marx.
Exactly that. But who could we have to present it? Because obviously Lloyd Grossman's done quite well with those jars of sauces now.
Yes.
Biggins, yeah. Big through the Communist Cribs Keyhole with Christopher Biggins. Some other key indicators ahead of tomorrow. So the CBI, the Confederation of British Industry, has come out with their latest quarterly data showing that confidence among retailers has sank at the steepest pace since the global financial crisis.
Labour backers have written a letter to Reeves warning that we risk suffering an exodus of talent to the US unless she addresses valley of death facing entrepreneurs.
Positive stuff. Traders are bracing for turmoil for the pound.
And Asda has suffered a growth downgrade.
By the way, when I saw that pound thing, I thought, can I do something like that guy in The Big Short? Could I change up some euros?
Is there some way of making some money out of all this misery?
I was like, what do I... And then, because I'm economically illiterate,
I know.
I don't know whether that means... What do we do?
This is the frustrating thing. This has always happened. Socialists wreck the economy, but I don't understand capitalism well enough to profit from it.
But we are exponents of capitalism, but we're just not recipients in the right way.
I prefer feudalism, and I think in a few years' time we're all going to be back on the land.
Somebody very clever right now is like stashing rubles or rupees or something, and something's happening to the pound, Bitcoin. And they're selling gold bars. And I'm thinking of trading places like trading now in frozen orange juice. Is that even a thing anymore?
It's Bitcoin and Donald Trump trading cards. Those will be the future currencies when the bombs have dropped.
So basically, we are going to be at College Green tomorrow. We're going to be interviewing a cast of stellar contributors to the Daily Tea in reaction to the budget. You're going to be inside the House of Commons. I'm going to be freezing in 5 coats. We're going to get together. We're going to present the whole thing, everything you need to know. And then on Thursday, we're going to invite in a former Treasury Special Advisor who really knows his onions, has been inside the red box. And I'm not talking about deal or no deal here. I'm talking about actually being able to add up. And he's going to be able to answer all of your questions. So if you have anything burning to ask him, Cameron Brown, as you listen to what Rachel Reeves announces tomorrow, do get in touch. It's the Daily Tea at telegraph.co.uk, or you can pose a question via our socials on X, Instagram and TikTok at Daily Tea Podcast.
2 things we'll be looking out for. One is whether or not the Chancellor drinks, because the Chancellor is permitted to drink. No one can drink in the House of Commons, except the Chancellor when delivering a budget.
Yes.
So famously, Ken Clarke liked to enjoy some whiskey while he was doing his budgets.
Does it have to be whiskey? Because that can be a bit blokey.
It
can be a bit blokey.
It can be anything.
I'd like her to turn up with an Aperol Spritz and just say cheers to the mansplainers with like loads of cocktail accoutrements in it.
Right. Yeah, one of those crazy cocktails with a twisty straw and a grapefruit sticking out the side of it. So one, will she drink? Oh, go on, Rachel, do it.
Please.
And secondly, what will the political fallout be? We'll be crunching the numbers, but also what does this mean for her future and Keir Starmer? Because don't forget that there are whispers among the backbenchers that this might be the last budget that she gives and that Keir Starmer sees. And there were some very interesting numbers out. You've been quizzing me on the houses.
Oh no, don't quiz me now.
on the houses of Labour people. But what do we think about runners and riders for the Labour leadership? I think this is very interesting. Who do we think Labour members, when asked by Survation on behalf of Labour List, who do we think they would support in a race against Keir Starmer?
Labour members.
Labour members.
Angela Rayner.
Right. So the most popular opponent against Starmer would be Andy Burnham.
Oh.
By a whopping 58% to 32%.
Mm-hmm.
The second most popular would be, Angela Rayner at 52 to 33%. It starts to get tighter after that. Miliband leads him 44 to 40%. Wes Streeting only leads him by 1%.
Well, he's too right-wing for the Labour membership.
This is the interesting thing. If you then get down to Phillipson versus Starmer, Starmer beats her 42 to 26%. Starmer versus Lucy Powell, he beats her 48 to 30%. And finally, this is the one I want to talk about. In a head-to-head between Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, Starmer would beat her by 50% to just 16%.
Wow.
Now, the reason why I think that's interesting is because the media likes to talk up the right of the Labour Party. I don't just mean us, I mean including, bizarrely, some left-wing publications, just sort of instinctively assume that Labour knows that it needs to shore up the reform vote, so it'll lean towards a right-wing candidate. And of course, Shabana Mahmood on immigration's been doing that, where Streeting sort of talks the talk on that. He looks a bit like a Blairite. But those two candidates are some of the least popular among members.
Yes.
So if hypothetically, Starmer has to go because the budget is a disaster or his backbenchers rebel or something, the working assumption within Westminster that the Labour Party would then choose someone like Wes Streeting or Shabana Mahmood, who's quite popular with the public, is quite wrong.
Because they would have to choose a candidate that the Labour membership would like.
Precisely.
So this
and, of course,
idea,
the trade unions.
But the most fascinating contest, of course, for us would be a write-off.
Yes.
But we're not going to get that.
But we wouldn't get to it.
But then it isn't a proper leadership race, is it? Because then we're saying by default the lefty will always win.
Yeah.
Even if a government that, well
or possibly
depends on
the
your
less
appreciation.
lefty. It depends on your definition of how left someone is. My point is simply that the people who the media and Westminster journalists are talking up right now don't stand a chance.
No.
The people who we should be looking at and keeping an eye on are the people who we don't tend to talk about so much, partly because in our minds we've dismissed them because we think they're crazy. It's Miliband.
It's Miliband.
It's Miliband.
It's Miliband.
It's Rayner and it's Burnham, even though he's not even in Parliament.
But is it actually just Miliband?
It could, it could.
You know, as he mans his 3 toasters and 4 cookers, bless him.
And the Miliband phenomenon is fascinating because arguably he was a worse opposition leader than Jeremy Corbyn.
That's a bit harsh.
Jeremy Corbyn in 2017...
Just because of that banana and the bacon sandwich?
No, but if we just go on actual hard numbers, in 2017, Jeremy Corbyn got one of Labour's best post-war results.
Yes.
Didn't quite win, but in percentage terms, it was very impressive. That then collapsed in 2019. Fine. Ed Miliband did badly in 2015, and not just that, he was predicted to win.
Yes.
And there were polls showing him neck and neck with the Tories, and he way underperformed. And it was on him. It was because of that fluff in a debate on TV in which he refused to say that Labour had overspent. It was because of the perception that he was weak in relation to Alex Salmond. It was because of the Ed Stone. Ed Miliband is honestly, I think objectively, one of the worst leaders Labour has ever had.
And they could be
And they like him.
Wow. But then the argument will be it will see off the threat from Zach Polanski because of the whole green agenda, net zero zealotry, let's close down North Sea oil and gas.
Yes.
The trouble with Miliband, of course, is he will not get the backing of unions.
Right. Because of net zero.
Because they're saying you're costing us thousands of jobs.
Yeah.
You're pretending that a load of mythical green jobs will be created. Well, no, not for somebody working class who's been up and down an oil rig for the last 30 years.
Well, in which case it's Rayner. But just on that point about he will see off the Greens, true. But the Greens are overwhelmingly trying to win Labour-facing constituencies, not Tory-facing constituencies. So even if, you contain the threat from the Greens, if your whole policy is directed towards trying to appease those people, then by implication you're giving up on where you're reform-facing.
Yes, you're not going to get any red wall, but it could be a good assault on the blue wall to hoover up some of the people who are disgruntled Tories because our rivers and seas have been turned into open toilets.
It probably keeps you competitive in seats you shouldn't be winning, in like rural, like Oxfordshire type seats, of course, like Banbury. Exactly. It probably keeps you in the game there.
It might keep you in the game in Berkhamsted and Harpenden.
But it probably means you're going to lose Redcar, and it probably means you're
not going to lose. You're not going to win Bishop Auckland on the basis of
you're going to get wiped out in Lincolnshire and the North East and things like that. So I think it is, on balance, a bad calculation. But my point stands that the conversations that I feel the media are having about what Labour needs to do don't appreciate what Labour actually will do, because we don't appreciate that it's Ed Miliband's party now. It's not Blair's party. It's not even Corbyn's party. It's very much Ed Miliband. And the value of his house is a bit of a giveaway. It is white-collar, liberal, green professionals. It ain't working class. It's not even Looney Tune Trotskyite. It's just kind of soft left. I give money to Oxfam and I'm worried about the environment. It's those sorts of people.
Yeah, tax me more.
I would actually like to be taxed more.
Which
well,
I
you
always
can
say,
be.
I say
You
to these
can
people,
volunteer.
Volunteer a donation to HMRC right now.
You can donate.
I tell you what, Ed, you rent out your kitchen.
Yes.
And to people wanting to make chai lattes and quinoa, why doesn't he take them on?
If you're enjoying our journalism, why not sign up to From the Editor, our free email newsletter? Start your day with the latest news and opinion, plus our bite-sized puzzles. Scan the QR code to sign up free today.